here is a Linux box with Apache server configured, hooked to a single Cisco router. Then we have two Cisco routers hooked together. And then lastly we have a Windows 7 machine, also configured for IPv6. The objective here is to get the Apache server from the Linux box to pass over to the Windows 7 machine via IPv6 addresses rather than using the standard IPv4 addresses. Hi, I'm Justin, this is Mitch, and we're Team Curse. What we're going to do today is we're going to set up an IPv6 network, purely, that way we can show that and then we're going to use an Apache server to connect the two to show that we have connectivity. First step is to separately configure all of both routers. You have to do this, the two routers cannot be connected together. You have to do it separately on two different systems to configure properly. So, we'll start there. What we're going to do is we're going to use Google Chrome, and we're going to access the routers on the IPv4 address.
The default IP for these routers is 192.168.1.1.
Put in our administrative passwords. And the first key to this is, what we have to do is get these on two different IPs, IPv4. That way when we connect them together, they'll see each other as a separate network.
So under setup and stuff, we have a couple options. What we're going to do, we're going to go into the LAN setup, and then under local IP address, Justin's going to be from the range of 100 to 150. I'm going to be from 200 to 250.
And the IP addresses for the two routers, I'm going to be on 192.168.2.1. Mitch is going to be on 192.168.2.2. What we're going to have to do here is we're going to have some settings apply. The routers are going to reset, and then we're going to be on the new IP addresses. Once we know we're on the new IP addresses, what we're going to do is then we're going to connect the two routers together and try to ping each other just via the IPv4. Point of pinging via the IPv4 is just to test connectivity to make sure we have connectivity in the first place. It would be impossible to try to set up an IPv6 network with the way the systems are now without setting up an IPv4 network first. So the way we chose to do this is that both computers are going to, or both routers are going to act separate or individual to each other. But what you'll tend to notice is that one router acts sort of like a main router, and it'll start doubling out IPs first, and then the second router would step in once we got beyond the range of that router. So we're going to seem like we're both on the same router, but as you can see, we're both separately plugged into different routers. Well, now that the routers are done resetting, we should be on two separate IPs. You should be able to plug the routers in together. They should be able to see each other. We should be able to ping each other along the IPv4 network. So what we're going to do now is we're going to connect these two routers together with the blue cable. And now we're going to find out what IP addresses that the routers have given us. The way we have this set up, just have it set up doing dynamic IP. Reason being is this is just temporary. We're just going to make sure that we can see each other. My router gave me 192.168.2.100. Mitch's router gave him 192.168.2.200. So that was what it decided. So it's good enough for us.
Now we're going to attempt to ping each other.
What I'm doing now is I'm pinging his system to make sure I have connectivity. Very good ping, less than a millisecond. This type of network can't expect anything better, so he's going to attempt to ping me.
and getting the same response.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn on dual stack mode on both the routers. We're using dual stack mode because dual stack mode is ideal for what we're trying to do. Unfortunately, with the type of systems we have now, we cannot live without IPv4. So, in dual stack mode, these two routers are still going to communicate via IPv4, but they're also going to communicate via IPv6. We're going to use the IPv6 part of the dual stack to communicate with each other. So, we're going to turn dual stack on now.
Changing it to IPv6 is really simple, especially on these new routers. Under basic setup, there's a command or a tab. It's not called IP mode, and basically it's just a click of two buttons.
Okay, now that dual stack mode's up, both computers are pulling in IPv6. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave this system on IPv4, IPv6. It's what's hosting the Apache server. It's not really necessary to prove what we're doing to take it off of IPv4. But what we're going to do now is we're going to shut off IPv4 in this system and connect solely to this system via IPv6. So it's not an exceptionally hard thing to do. All you have to do is go into the advanced settings and turn off Internet Protocol version 4, TCP, IPv4. So once we do that, what will happen is the networking is going to change in the system slightly. But since we didn't do anything to this system's going to stay on the same IPv6 it already was on. Mine will probably have changed, but it doesn't really affect what we're trying to do with the Apache server. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull up Google Chrome. We have bookmarked the IPv6 address already. I already have it set in the system, so there's no need for a cumbersome typo cross. And as you can see, we connect to the Apache server pretty simply. Pure IPv6 network. These two are communicating through the dual stack mode. This one still has the IPv4 v6, but this one is system's only running off IPv6. This pretty much proves the theory that you can have a separate network working just with IPv6. If we had some more applications that work just in IPv6 without configurations being need done, we could run other applications over this network. That's it. This is just an overview shot of the whole configuration, so you can see how we have things linked up. Like we were saying, we have one Cisco router hooked into one computer, a second Cisco router hooked into a second computer, and then that's the one with the Apache server saying it works. The two routers are just connected via the blue cable here, so that you can see that we don't have anything else cut in. There's no internet source or anything running to the configuration yet, so we're just showing you. There's your Apache server functioning. Can you even refresh the page? And show you that it works.
Oh yeah!